Today in Dreamweaver, we're going to learn how to work with the CSS Designer panel. I'm going to click in my Saturn. This is my H1. And I want to go to the CSS Designer panel. Oops, I want to go down here and make sure I'm in my H1, not in an inline style. So my H1. Make sure I have Show Set unchecked. And remember, we have 4 categories. We've got width, text, border, and background. So let's explore some of these. So I can go over here to text, and I can choose my color. I can choose my eyedropper, and maybe I want that really pretty color of orange. Okay, so in my designer panel, and again in my classroom, I'm using the font for Vintage Avalanche. So again, I'm on my H1. I'm using my font family Vintage Avalanche, and I've got my color. I want to make that a lot larger, so I could change my font size. I could make it to large or extra large, or I could even go in and change it to actual point size, maybe make it 60 points, so it is really big. So the 3 changes I've made is I've changed the color, the font family, and I've made this font size 60. Now let's add some other details. I want to add a text shadow. First, I'm going to check my color, my eyedropper, and I'm going to put this in this like medium magenta color. And now I need to do my horizontal vertical shadow. So if I don't know which I'm doing, I can literally just do this, try this, maybe 4 pixels. Oh, well, that looks pretty good. What happens if I did a vertical of 2 or 4. Oh, that's 40. That is way too much. So I'll just leave it as 4 here. So I've got my horizontal shadow of 4 pixels, 0 on the vertical, and I've got my color. And again, this is on my H1. So now when I look over here at my CSS panel, and I scroll down to H1, what do I see? I see all of my items already in there. So that's the advantage of the CSS Designer panel. We are in source code, we can make changes live, and we can see how they look live, and then they automatically are saving in the CSS panel. Okay, and I still have my H1 selected. Okay, make sure I'm on my H1. And now I can go down to my background image. So I could choose a file or here or in the background color. Maybe I want to get a good contrasting color. So maybe a nice bright lime green. And I can click here and boom, it automatically adds a background color. To review, we are in our CSS. We go to our CSS Designer panel. We were under text. Now we are under background. So right here I gave this a background image. Okay. Or excuse me, a background color. If we want to do an image, we could put it there. Oh, now I see something else, a box shadow. So it says a color. So obviously, to maintain consistency, I would want to use the same color here that we are using up there. And I'm not sure what size we need, so maybe we could start, let's say, with 4 pixels of each. So 4 pixels horizontal and 4 right here. All right, and then I want to go and see how this would look. So I can go to File, Real-Time Preview, Google Chrome. So you may need to save this. And there we go. So do you see the difference? Here we added a drop shadow to the text versus here we added that to the actual background box. Also notice here that we're in the live mode. If we go into design mode, you can see it looks a little bit different, and that's just really kind of focusing on where the items are versus maybe exactly how they are formatted. Okay, so we're going to go back to our live view to see how this is looking. Okay, next we're going to go to our CSS Designer panel. Wait, maybe I need to go back and do a split code there. So next I want to just try a couple changes here for the H2, the gas giant. Same thing, CSS designer. We can go and click this. Let's make the color of this the same color as that green. Okay, the font size is 16. Maybe we can make that, let's say, 30. And then we can also go in and change the font family before we do a couple new items. So the CSS designer on my H2, I made the font family Little Bird. That's all one word, and that's a special font that may be just in my room. And then a font size of 30 pixels that we have. Let's style our horizontal rule here. So we can go in on line 20 and click our HR. Again, we're going to be in our designer panel. Make sure we have our HR. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Maybe let's make it 10 pixels, not 5. When we first coded in HTML, we basically just added one of those. But now we're able to go back in and actually adjust the height for some of our lines. Learn how to do is how to add a gradient color to the HR. So this is a couple of steps, but not too hard. So we're going to go to our CSS designer. Again, we've got our HR selected. We're going to scroll down. Okay, so right now we have this background color, but what we want to do is to make it into a gradient. So we're going to click right here where it says Set Background Image Gradient. Okay, so right now this is our gradient stops. So this is the beginning color and the ending color. So I'm going to click at the top, and I'm going to click my eyedropper, and I'm going to set my top color as this middle kind of purple color. I'm going to click on the very bottom of the gradient. Okay, so I'm right here. If I wanted to, I could even try to move the settings between the colors, but I prefer to use the eyedropper and make sure that I get that bottom color exactly right. Okay. In fact, maybe I want to move that kind of here. And now I want to add one more gradient stop here at the bottom. Excuse me, add a stop here. And again, I'm going to click the eyedropper. And this time I'm going to use the dark color. Okay, so I've got 3 colors here. So these are my color stops. If you see, I can also adjust the height and the width of these to kind of see how much you could see in the design. And right now these are linear, and I can click out of those. Okay, but nothing has changed yet. Okay, so all I need to do is go over here in my CSS panel, and I'm going to look over here for my HR, my horizontal rule, and I'm going to delete right here where it says the background color. I'm going to delete that one, so then all that shows is my linear gradient. So I can click File and Save. I can go back to my source code. That looks great. I can do View, Real-Time Preview, View in Chrome. And there we go. So quick review. So we're able to add a drop shadow or kind of a horizontal vertical shadow to the text. We added a green background to the text box. We added a 4-pixel drop shadow to the box. We changed our font here. And then we formatted the horizontal rule to actually have a gradient inside. So thanks for learning Dreamweaver. And this is just a short review of how you can use the CSS panel.